JayZ just got hit with something he can't ignore. After 13 years of dodging, denying, and delaying, a judge has officially ordered him to respond in a paternity case that could expose one of the biggest secrets of his career. The man claiming to be his son, Rymir Satterthwaite, is finally getting a shot. This isn't just about a DNA test, it's about what happened back in 1992. Rymir's mother says she was 16 when JayZ, then 22, picked her up in Philly and took her to Brooklyn. She says they hooked up, she got pregnant, and he disappeared. If that's true, it's not just bad, it's criminal. For years, JayZ's team fought to bury this. They claimed he didn't live in New Jersey and couldn't be forced to take a test. But now Rymir has proof. Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mom, said JayZ did own property there. That lie just fell apart, and now things are getting messy. Nicki, Minaj, and 50 Cent are calling him out. Rymir says Beyoncé wants him gone. He even claims he was shot at after filing his lawsuit. Bullet holes, police stops, threats, all of it documented. So why is JayZ silent? Why would someone with his power go to these lengths to avoid a simple DNA test? And what are they trying so hard to hide? This story just exploded. And now, JayZ has no choice but to face it. According to Rymir and his mother, it all started in 1992. JayZ was 22 years old, already building his name in Brooklyn. Wanda, Rymir's mother, was just 16 when she says Jay picked her up in Philadelphia and drove her to his aunt's apartment in New York. That's where she claims they hooked up, using protection, but it failed. She got pregnant, and JayZ vanished. Wanda says he showed up once more, 2 weeks later, then disappeared for good. No calls, no address, no way to reach him. For years, Wanda stayed quiet. On Rymir's birth certificate, her live-in boyfriend at the time, Robert Graves, was listed as the father, but in 2011, that illusion shattered. A DNA test proved Robert wasn't the biological dad, and his name was removed from the record. Wanda then told Rymir the truth. She had only ever been with two men, Robert and JayZ, and if one wasn't the father, that left only one option. But even with the truth out in the open, the legal system didn't make it easy. Wanda tried filing for child support against JayZ, but the case was thrown out, not because it lacked merit, but because she filed in the wrong state. New Jersey didn't hold jurisdiction, and JayZ's legal team pounced on that. Since then, it's been a legal maze of technicalities, sealed courtrooms, and roadblocks. Rymir says every time he tried to move forward, Jay's team found new ways to stall the process, using their power and resources to keep the case buried. Wanda and her family say they weren't just ignored, they were silenced. According to Wanda's godmother, JayZ's lawyers reached out with a friendly tone at first, even offering to help Rymir's music career. But when the family refused to play ball, the energy shifted. Suddenly, the calls got colder. The lawyers more aggressive. That's when it stopped being about money and started looking like a cover-up, and Rymir wasn't going to let it go. After over a decade of dead ends, Rymir finally caught a break. In a major twist, a New Jersey judge granted permission for the case to move forward, officially ordering JayZ to respond by July 18, 2025. That ruling came after Rymir filed new evidence, and it directly called out JayZ by name. The court order didn't just open the door, it forced JayZ onto the clock. For the first time, he can no longer avoid this. The legal shield is cracking, and the evidence that tipped the scales? A passage from Tina Knowles' book, Beyoncé's own mother. In it, Tina allegedly referenced JayZ owning property in New Jersey during the time the original case was filed. That undercut JayZ's entire legal defense, that he couldn't be tested in New Jersey because he had no ties there. That technicality is gone now. And suddenly, everything is in play. But that's not the only person from JayZ's circle being pulled into the mess. Rymir's family claims Beyoncé herself may be trying to interfere. According to Wanda's godmother, someone close to Beyoncé allegedly told her that Beyoncé wanted Rymir to go away. Not just metaphorically, but physically. She says a strange man even showed up at her home one evening, asking to get in through the back gate. It didn't feel like a coincidence. Even more shocking, reports have surfaced claiming Rymir was shot at shortly after filing one of his civil suits. He posted pictures of his car riddled with bullet holes, claiming he was targeted, and that someone had planted something in his vehicle to frame him during a police stop. Whether those events are connected to the case or not, the timing is chilling. Meanwhile, Beyoncé remains silent, but insiders are whispering that she's working behind the scenes to protect the empire, making quiet calls, pulling legal strings, and allegedly doing whatever it takes to keep this case away from headlines. But it's too late. Between the court order, the property evidence, and the wave of public support, Rymir has the momentum now, and Beyoncé's alleged efforts to silence him are only adding fuel to the fire. Just when the case was heating up, Nicki Minaj jumped in, and she didn't hold back. It started when she reposted one of 50 Cent's shady tweets about JayZ's alleged son, but that was just the spark. What came next was a direct call-out of JayZ, Roc Nation, and Desiree Perez, the powerful CEO of the label. Nicki reposted a resurfaced interview with Dre Hadley, Desiree Perez's own daughter, who dropped jaw-dropping claims. She says her mother locked her in a mental institution and that Roc Nation has a long history of silencing and intimidating people, including Nicki herself. In the interview, Dre said Roc Nation tried to shut Nicki down completely, rob her of her platform, target her husband, and isolate her from her fans. And Nicki confirmed it. She said they tried to shadow ban her content, suppress her fan pages, and even manipulate her personal life by turning her own husband against her. She didn't stop there. Nicki said flat out, JayZ owes her money, and that the tactics used to silence her are the same tactics being used against Rymir: legal manipulation, public silence, behind-the-scenes pressure, everything carefully hidden behind power and prestige. Nicki described it as a deliberate campaign, sabotage, pure and simple. And she warned fans and the public, if it can happen to her, it can happen to anyone. Rymir's story, the alleged setups, intimidation, and court obstruction, started looking a lot less isolated and a lot more systemic. And Nicki didn't hesitate to stand with him. By backing Rymir, she added massive pressure to JayZ's situation. Her involvement made it impossible for media outlets to ignore the case. It turned a quiet legal battle into a public spectacle and forced more people to start asking, why is JayZ going so far to avoid a test? Now, with two of the most outspoken celebrities, Nicki Minaj and 50 Cent, shining a light on the case, the story has taken on a life of its own. And while JayZ continues to say nothing publicly, the silence is starting to look like guilt, because Nicki's warning was clear. This isn't just one kid looking for his dad. This is about how powerful people shut down the truth. And the more they try to bury it, the louder the story gets. JayZ's lawyers have done everything possible to keep this paternity case buried. From the beginning, they leaned on technicalities, claiming JayZ couldn't be forced to take a DNA test in New Jersey because he never lived or owned property there. For years, that argument worked. The case stalled. Courts refused to act. But then Rymir flipped the narrative. He produced a passage from Tina Knowles' book, Beyoncé's Own Mother, confirming that JayZ did have property in New Jersey around the time the case first began. That single detail shattered the foundation of Jay's legal defense and gave the court grounds to proceed. Still, JayZ's team didn't back down. They continued fighting tooth and nail, even allegedly lying in court. Documents show one of his attorneys admitted they had misspoken. But by then, the damage was already done. The lie was on the record, and the judge wasn't amused. The court had seen enough. That's when the judge signed off on the order, forcing JayZ to respond by July 18th. No more delays, no more silence, but just as Rymir was finally gaining ground, something unthinkable happened. He says someone tried to take him out, not figuratively, literally. Rymir posted pictures of his car riddled with bullet holes, claiming he was shot at after filing his civil suit. He also says someone planted something in his car, and when police pulled him over, it felt like a setup, like someone wanted to frame him or scare him into silence. The details are chilling, and they mirror the same kind of intimidation tactics Nicki Minaj and Dre Hadley accused Roc Nation of using. The pattern is too specific to ignore. Silence the critics, isolate the threats, protect the brand at all costs. If Rymir's story is true, this case isn't just about DNA anymore. It's about power, control, and retaliation. And the scariest part? No one has been held accountable for any of it. Not the alleged lies in court. Not the alleged attempts to intimidate a young man seeking the truth. Not the shot that nearly ended everything. But now, with the court watching, the public tuned in, and celebrities backing him, Rymir finally has a platform. And JayZ, he's running out of time. With all the media buzz, celebrity drama, and courtroom tension, one question keeps popping up. What does Rymir really want? Is it money, fame, a piece of JayZ's empire? According to Rymir, none of the above. In recent interviews, he's made it clear. This isn't about claiming the Carter last name or forcing a family reunion. It's about the truth and justice for how his family was treated by the courts, the lawyers, and the system that was supposed to protect them. He says the legal system failed him, failed his mom, failed everyone who tried to do the right thing. Wanda, his mother, didn't have millions or celebrity connections. She just wanted to hold someone accountable. But what she got instead were closed doors, dismissed filings, and a courtroom that seemed stacked against her from day one. Rymir says those shady court decisions caused his family to lose money, face foreclosure, and even have illegal liens placed on their home. All while JayZ's team moved freely behind the scenes, silencing witnesses and manipulating outcomes. And still, no DNA test. That's the part that hits the hardest for Rymir. After all these years, JayZ continues to say nothing and refuses to take one simple test. So Rymir asked the question out loud, publicly. If you're not my father and you never had anything to do with my mom, then why won't you just take the test? It's the one move that could shut the case down instantly. No lawyers, no headlines, no more speculation. A DNA test would settle it forever. But JayZ hasn't done it. Not in 13 years, not even after being ordered to respond in court. That silence, that refusal, is what fuels Rymir now. Because for him, this fight was never about becoming JayZ's son. It was about proving that even the most powerful names in the world don't get to dodge accountability forever. And as the world watches, Rymir isn't backing down. The clock is ticking. JayZ has until July 18th, 2025 to respond to the court. This time, there are no more excuses, no more legal shields, and no more delays. For the first time in over a decade, he's being legally forced to face the paternity case head-on. All eyes are on him now. Fans, critics, celebrities, the press, everyone's asking the same question. Will JayZ finally take the test? Because if he's innocent, if everything Wanda and Rymir have said is false, then why not just prove it? Why not shut it all down with a single DNA swab? That's what's making people suspicious. That silence, that avoidance, the alleged lies from his legal team, the reports of intimidation, the photos of bullet holes, the whispers of behind-the-scenes manipulation. And then there's Beyoncé, who, according to multiple sources, may have tried to shut this down behind closed doors. If so, it raises a deeper question. What are they protecting? For years, JayZ built a brand on being untouchable. The billionaire rapper turned mogul, husband to the queen, a cultural icon. But behind that image, a 30-year-old story keeps coming back, louder every time. And now, it's on the verge of blowing up. Because this isn't just about a boy looking for his dad anymore. It's about abuse of power. It's about a family that got steamrolled by the system. It's about a young man who says he was nearly killed after filing a lawsuit and who's still here, still fighting, with the truth on his side and millions watching. Even now, JayZ has said nothing. No statement, no denial, no move toward closure. Just silence. And maybe, for the first time in his career, that silence might cost him. So what happens next? Will JayZ step up and take the test? Will the court force him to do it? Or will this case spiral into something even bigger, with more secrets, more evidence, and more danger? Whatever happens, one thing is clear. Rymir isn't going away, and this time, neither is the truth.